starting soon. Stephen Allen and Erich McElroy.
Who's done a terrific job.
Why, thank you. Comics in Quarantine Solving Problems with Stephen Allen and Erich McElroy, starting soon. Streaming live on the internet.
And I think you said you're going to test that too.
We did test it. Yeah, it works sometimes. Starting soon. Comics in Quarantine Solving Problems with Stephen Allen and Erich McElroy, starting soon. Doing online shows.
For much longer than I would have liked.
Suit yourself. Comics in Quarantine Solving Problems with Stephen Allen and Erich McElroy, starting soon. From their tidied up offices.
And then I see the disinfectant.
You do not want to know what happened in there before. Comics in Quarantine Solving Problems with Stephen Allen and Erich McElroy, starting soon. Answering the questions from
you, the people of this country.
If you email them in comics@somenews.co.uk or tweet at Mr. Stephen Allen or at Erich McElroy. Comics in Quarantine Solving Problems with Stephen Allen and Erich McElroy, starting soon. Starting soon.
In a minute. 1 minute.
Well, maybe a bit longer than a minute, but soon. Soon. Comics in Quarantine Solving Problems with Stephen Allen and Erich McElroy, starting soon. The web show we started because we were out of work.
And it is still true.
All right, don't rub it in. Comics in Quarantine Solving Problems with Stephen Allen and Erich McElroy, starting soon. Using their expertise to solve problems.
You're going to have to use medical doctors with.
No, just two comedians talking rubbish out of their face holes. Comics in Quarantine Solving Problems with Stephen Allen and Erich McElroy, starting soon. Lockdown 2020, giving Stephen Allen an
Hello and welcome to Comics in Quarantine Solving Problems. I'm Stephen Allen.
And I'm Eric McElroy. Hello.
Yeah, he is. Welcome along then. So it's our Thursday night episode of this, episode 27 of the show where we fail to solve problems that you send in and that are created by the news. There's plenty of problems in the news we'll be ducking into. Wherever you're watching this, you can message us and send any problems you'd like us to sort out for you. Already, it's getting busy in the comment section, Eric. Chris says, good evening, and Mark says, what have I missed? Which might be a reference to Hamilton, seeing as absolutely everyone's watched it. Then again, it might not be. I've watched, like 5 hours I sat there, so I think I'm nearly halfway through it. So you can message us wherever you are watching this, and we will solve your problems and stuff what is going off in the news. If you enjoy it to any extent. Down here we've got the old link that you can chuck us some money to effectively buy us a drink. More on why comedians very much need help later on. So how are you doing today, Eric?
I'm doing good, Steve. I'm doing good. I'm excited to get into the stories. But first, I do need to ask a little bit of a personal question because I used to have to dress up for a proper job back in the day. So I'm so far, I don't think I've had to repeat a single tie in our 27 episodes, even though I didn't wear a tie the first couple. So I'm on my 25th tie. I do need to question the ensemblage that you've put together there. Because I like the dark jacket. I like the shirt.
Thank you.
But the tie does not match anything.
It doesn't,
I'm not a fashion guru, but what the fuck is going on with that tie?
I've run out of combinations, so I'm just now making it through different shirts, different ties. I mean, this is the first time I've worn this shirt on this show, because when we started I was very obese and I've been doing running, so now I'm into these shirts again. The jacket I can actually more than button up, but yeah, I've not worn this one for a couple of shows. Thought we'd get it back on it.
I'll send you a tie. I'll send you a couple ties.
What's wrong with this?
It's just, it doesn't look. All right. Anyway, let's talk about the news. That's not the news. If there's anybody out there that can help Steve with some fashion, he has lost weight. So he can, maybe to save the economy, he can go out and buy some clothes. I've gained weight, so I'm going to be buying stretchy trousers. But the big news in America, as where all the biggest news comes from, is, of course, that the Supreme Court ruled today that Trump has to allow a prosecutor in New York to see his tax returns for a court case. I think we've got the headline here just to prove it. It's on the BBC, so it must be true. U.S. Supreme Court to rule on revealing Trump taxes, and they have indeed ruled. And basically, Trump has to give his tax return to this court, and he's been resistant to do that, which is without precedent in the United States. All presidential candidates and the people who become president have given their past tax returns over the last, the first to do it was Richard Nixon. Richard Nixon was more transparent than Donald Trump.
Known for his honesty.
When you're not doing something that Richard Nixon was willing to do, you're not in good territory. Now, so the court said that he has to release these things. Trump has to allow the prosecutor to see them. Here was Trump's reaction to the court case. I think he's handled it really well.
Yeah, same hair. Still got the same hair.
Same hair. Now, Steve, this is an exclusive to Comics in Quarantine Solving Problems.
Yeah.
I have obtained a copy of the tax returns ahead of the court case. And I was able to get it because I just sent Trump a tweet, because he and I are Twitter buds. And I just said, look, it's only going to be broadcast in the UK. It's only going to be broadcast in Great Britain. And he said, that's fine, because Britain, you're not that great anymore. So he was more than happy to release the returns to you. Now, looking at these, I'm just going to highlight a few things. It's interesting looking at a billionaire's tax return, right? Because most of the figures on here are only in the millions, which is strange. But actually, I say that on the official return, like where it's typed in, it's in $1 million levels. But then there's some zeros added with what looks like a crayon. It was a tiny crayon that was held by tiny little fingers. So don't know who did that. Now, we've known for a long time that in 1995, Trump lost $1 billion, right? He had one of the biggest tax write-offs of any American. But we've never known exactly what that loss was. And now we can see it, Steve. We can see that there was a $65 million loss for talking nicely to ugly people.
Wow.
You can write that off. There's also a $50 million tax credit for having children, which is why he has to keep getting married and having more children. More kids mean more tax breaks.
Understandable, yeah.
That's what these things are there for. He failed. He didn't take a deduction for health insurance costs. He just wrote in here, also in the same crayon, it just says fitter than Jesus. So, okay.
Good, yeah.
Whatever. There's a $98 million loss for hamster hair. Don't know what that's for. And lastly, there is a $5 donation to a charity. And then, wait, hold on. There's something next to it. It just says, it's in the crayon again. It says, don't do that again. Okay. There we go. So
it's going to be interesting reading, yeah.
Right here on Comics in Quarantine, Solving Problems.
I mean, because you have a different system over there, don't you? It's not just self-assessment.
No.
Because, you know, if he did self-assessment, it would just be a piece of paper that would just say, like, I'm very good, I'm the best, I'm the greatest.
Yep. He's even said in previous books that basically sometimes his net worth is how he feels on that day.
Oh, wow. In that case, I've never been so poor. It's true.
I know. My self-esteem right now is so low. I wish that was funny. This is the laughter of sorrow.
Happy times.
Happy times.
Are you going to be reading them when they get, you know, what kind of level detail are you going to go into? You're going to bother to read another man's tax return?
Oh, well, these tax returns, yes. This is tax porn, Steve. This is getting into a level of like, oh, how big were the losses? Tell me about your losses. How deep did they go?
Right. So it's going to be like, you're going to wait till it's on Pornhub and watch it there?
Yeah, exactly. Are we streaming to Pornhub yet?
Not yet. A little bar thing down the graph. I don't know. Well, let's not get into it. But it is doable. On some porn sites, we could send this show, and I've never been brave enough to click those buttons yet. But at some point, we could do it. We could do it.
Neither of us is wearing trousers, so we could qualify.
That's very true. As we talked about earlier on BBC Radio, we could mention that later on.
That's right.
Chris says, being self-employed, I'll be entering watching you pair as an expenditure. You should do as well. Are we a tax write-off? Because it very much seems like we're beyond a charity case.
I think so. Yeah, definitely. Definitely. Any money that you give to us, as long as it's 3 to 4 figures, is a tax write-off. Yeah. And I can guarantee that because I have pretended to read the president's tax returns.
How about that piece of paper has got some water damage on it? It's true.
Yeah. I got really excited when I was speaking about it earlier.
Mark says Trump also tweeted today about COVID testing, but instead of saying 100th time, he wrote 1 over 100th time. A fraction. Brilliant.
I did see that, and I thought of Steve when I saw that tweet, and I almost brought it to the show, but I thought, we'll talk about other things. But yes, that was a great moment, and definitely for Steve's science mind, because these things are numbers. They don't matter.
The guy can't even do fractions, and yet he's in charge. Ridiculous. Right, keep the messages coming through. We'll get to more of those. You can get us on Twitter, at Mr. Stephen Allen, at Eric McElroy. Wherever you're watching it, send the messages. Talk about the big UK news is the fact that some stuff is opening up again. Coronavirus, the beauty salons are reopening, and the gyms and the indoor pools. Let's break it down and go through some of these then, should we? So beauty salons. I know you used to work in the beauty industry.
I did, yeah.
I'm not sure how big a slice of the UK economy beauty salons are. Certainly don't look like it when you're walking around. Damn, that's a burn. Ooh.
Okay, that's a burn. On yourselves. You just burn your own people.
Oh, yeah. Your face needs bailing out. That's the kind of thing I'm going there. So great. I mean, hair salons have not really bothered me. Beauty salons, honestly, never been to one in my life, as you can tell. I'm not going to worry about that. Swimming pools. Yeah, because no one ever caught anything from a swimming pool. I mean, when I was at school, grew up in Mansfield, and there was a woman in the year above me, and she went through one of the foot baths wrong and got pregnant. So that's what she said. And now I'm older, maybe I should have questioned that more. But still, I think, how is it that these things are opening up? And now it's just like, yeah, let's do it. They're all absolutely fine. This is worrying, isn't it? You can't wear a face mask when you go swimming. I mean, you can if you're snorkeling. But that's a different... You need to put an actual face mask on top of your little blowhole. Again, I'm not an expert.
Yeah.
But the biggest issue out of all of these is the gyms. Because, look, it's good that they're open because now I'm not going to the gym by choice rather than being forced to not go, which I wouldn't have gone anyway. But it still grates somewhat that these dirty-ass places where people get sweaty and grunty and whatnot are opening up. And we're not, as comedy. So, to find out more, I'm joined on the line by a minister. Hello.
Hello, Steve.
So, gyms opening, comedy clubs not. Yeah.
Yes, look, I see why you would be concerned, but we have to face facts. In most comedy clubs, there is laughter.
Bit predictable.
And the thing about laughter is that it could cause people to breathe out infected aerosols.
What did you just call us?
No, what I mean, Steve, is that small particles of moisture that could carry the virus. People in comedy clubs will be breathing more heavily.
Than people in gyms where people go and do running and lifting and stuff. They breathe a lot in gym. Are you telling me that you think workout sessions are going to be like this?
Hi guys, welcome along to today's workout session. It's anaerobic exercises. Anaerobic means no breathing. Breathing is cheating. We're going to do a minute of reps without breath. Here we go. And don't breathe. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold your breath. And 1, 2, 3. Feel the burn. That's your lungs. And no, I'm going down. I'm down.
So, yeah, do you think it's going to be not breathing in gyms?
I'm sorry, Steve. Is this a fake interview sketch, or is this one of the sketches where you act something out? I mean, am I meant to have been able to see the thing that we've just watched? This whole thing is very confusing.
I don't even know anymore. I mean, I've just not had work. I've not left the flat in ages. It's too much.
Well, listen, you should probably get yourself down the gym. At least they're open now.
Bastard. Thank you very much for joining us, Minister. Well, I think we learnt a lot there. This show's getting meta. I don't even know what's happening now. It's sketches within sketches.
And then you've done that face thing now. I don't know. The filter. It's pretty incredible what you're doing. And the fact that you basically are losing your mind because you can't do gigs.
Not only am I all comedians, we're losing our mind because we can't do gigs, but not every comedian is giving you 2 times a week the opportunity to watch it happen.
That's right. And do sketches to himself, sketches that feature himself, sometimes talking to himself, where he then goes live on air when he has a co-host who's right here the whole time. I don't go anywhere, guys. I'm underneath fake Steve talking to himself while I just have to sit here quietly. I'm just going to drink some beer now. Because
it was a breakthrough where I managed to work out how to do, because when we do the fake phone calls, like you can play in a clip at a time, but to manage to talk to myself with that's a real-time moving face. This is like that episode of Buffy when they had 2 Xanders and everyone's like, my God, the CGI is amazing. How are they doing that? It turns out that Nicholas Brandon guy who plays him just had a twin. So I've just hired a twin. It's like the Prestige. I just clone myself. It's the easiest way to do it.
There you go. That chemistry degree is coming in handy. Wow. Excellent stuff. I mean, you've got the acting, you've got the digital work, you've got everything. This is Oscar contender, I'm saying.
Surely it's worth a drink. If it is, the link's down the bottom. Some messages coming through. Double method, says Mark. This is not just method acting. This is, as he says, method within method, fractal method. The acting on this show is just getting good. The opening of beauty salons and tanning salons will double the GDP of Essex.
Nice.
Beauty salon, says Ellie, probably an unnecessarily large slice. It'll make some people feel better about having nothing better to do than getting their nails done and other bodily parts. I don't know what that word is, but I don't know if we should say it.
That's not
there's
a
a
word.
There's a Q in it for some reason.
We'll Google that.
Yeah. Is it one of those things there are normally fancy words to do with removal of hair, which I don't come across often. So there we go.
I mean, I can say, I used to, when I did work at the beauty school back in the day, the one thing I did acquaint myself with was something called a paraffin dip. Do you know what that is, Stephen?
No. Tell me more.
It's basically you're with the salon person there, and they take lotion and they rub it on your hand and they rub it up to your shoulder. Can't go past the elbow, sorry. Can't go past the elbow because then that becomes a massage. That's a different service. And so they rub it in and massage your arm. Then basically they've covered your hand with the hand lotion, and then you dip your hand in a hot bucket of liquid wax.
Wow.
You take your hand out, they put a big plastic cover on it, and then just let it soak. And then eventually they remove it once it's all hardened.
So this is like that stuff in the film Wanted with Angelina Jolie and James McAvoy.
Yeah.
Does it cure all your injuries because you've been stabbed loads?
I don't know. It feels really good.
You know what? I have the same motto as you then. I didn't realise. I never go past the elbow, otherwise that's something else. But it's more of a vet's visit if you go past the elbow.
Different story. Again, that's the kind of thing that will get us on Pornhub. Once we go there. Thank you very much to Chris, who's thrown us a drink, and I can see a couple of the drinks have come in, and so I'll check up on those. But we do appreciate that. If you can go to the jokepit.com page and do that and keep us dreaming, people. Keep us alive if you're enjoying yourselves. And also, we forgot to say at the beginning, we always forget to say this at the beginning, if you're watching us on Facebook, you can share that you're watching, and that sends it out to your friends and enemies.
Yep.
We don't care. Or if you're watching on YouTube, you can subscribe and all those kind of things. But just spread the word because this is the only satisfaction we have in our lives right now. Right. We'll crack on to the next story, which is another Trump court case that he's lost.
Wow.
This time they're keeping it within the family because it's regarding a book that's being released that's written by his niece, Mary Trump. It's not in stores yet. We've got a shot of the cover here. You can buy it, I think, somewhere. Mary Trump, too much is never enough, the Donald Trump story. Basically, it is a tell-all, right? She grew up in the Trump family. She's younger. She's a daughter of Trump's brother. And of course, as soon as so details of the book have been leaking out because it's not yet for sale, but reporters around the country have it. And a reporter went to the White House and he asked the White House, there's this book about Trump's niece, or by Trump's niece, where she says that the Trump is narcissistic. She says that he's a liar. She says that he's self-grandizing. And those are just the nice things. See? Jokes.
I like it.
Every now and then. It was nice. So the reporter brought that to the White House, said, how does Trump feel about this book so far? And this was the response from the White House press secretary.
It's ridiculous, absurd allegations that have absolute no bearing in truth. Have yet to see the book, but it is a book of falsehoods. All right, thank you guys.
That is peak Trump.
That's amazing.
The book is all lies, and I haven't seen it.
That is the same mentality as those people when you say, do you want this for dinner? They're like, oh, I don't like that food. You ever tried it? No.
Yep. My grandfather, every time we went to a Chinese restaurant, he'd get steak. Don't like it. Looks like worms. He was a nice man. Right. Now, Steve, if you remember, John Bolton's book just came out a few weeks ago, former national security advisor to Trump, and that was episode 21, if you'll recall.
Wow.
So it's still online, guys, if you want to catch up on it. And we played a little game in that show because we had that leaked book as well, where we said, let's guess which parts of the book are true and which parts of the book are false, because we know a little bit about what's in the book. And so are you ready to play again, Stephen?
Am I a quiz show contestant again?
You're a quiz show contestant again.
Lovely. Hello, it's nice to be here. I've had a great day so far.
There we go. Good. So let's play which part of Mary Trump's book about her uncle are true. First thing, true or false? Steve, Trump had someone else take exams to help him get into university. True or false?
Oh, well, his mother's not a famous actress from American TV show, and I know they do it a lot, but I'm going to say...
He's a very stable genius, Steve. Remember that.
He's a genius, but he can't do fractions. I'm going to say true.
You are right. Look at that.
Wow.
You're already doing better than last time. All right. So when Trump's brother, Mary's father, was in hospital dying, Trump went to a play instead of going to the hospital to see him.
Wow. I mean, that's low. That is nasty. And even if you want to be a president one day, that's not the kind of presidential thing that you'd mimic. It's less about going to theatres these days, I seem to remember. I know, surely not even Donald Trump would do that.
Well, you're right, Stephen. It is false because he would never go to a play. He went to the movies.
Nice.
Yep. Thank you. See, a little misdirection. I can do it now and then. Yeah. Trump 1 year ate all of the candy in his niece's Easter basket. True or false?
It's not the worst thing he seems to want to do to a family member, given what he said about his daughter. So I'll say true.
That is false, Steve. That actually happened to me. It was a man we were house sharing with when I was younger. And his name was Mike Norquist, and I have never forgiven him, and I am happy to name and shame him right here publicly. I was 10 years old, and I came home, and it was a different Easter bunny in the basket. It wasn't my Easter bunny because he'd eaten the whole fucking thing and replaced it with a different Easter bunny, but I knew it wasn't the same one.
Okay. Oh, I think
anyway.
Have we gone off topic?
Two more. I've been waiting to say that on the show. This is a long one.
All right.
As Donald Trump prepared to become the first American president to meet with a North Korean dictator, his older sister, not the niece, but Trump's older sister, called the White House to leave a message for her brother. And in the message, she said, "Tell him his older sister called with a little sisterly advice. Learn from those who know what they're doing and stay away from Dennis Rodman." True or false?
Took a twist. Some of the people in the comments section are playing along here, but I've not got any help yet. This is question 4. Give me some true or false on this. I'm going to say false.
That is true.
What? There's no need to be all Confucius saying at the end of it end up talking about Dennis Rodman.
She said stay away from Dennis Rodman.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's friends with Kim Jong-un.
Yeah, but he was going to actually meet Kim Jong-un. It seems like that's worse. If the reason you don't like Dennis Rodman is because he knows Kim Jong-un, he's going to meet Kim Jong-un. Now, yeah, both Mark and Chris have said true. Yeah, thanks for that.
I think you're about 50-50 here. I haven't actually paid attention because there's no prizes. Mary Trump says she wrote the book because she fears a second term of her uncle being president would be the end of the American democracy. True or false?
I mean, if she didn't think that, I think a lot of people do. So let's go for, some of the people in the comments are saying true.
Well, it's sort of true. She did say that, but it is sort of false as well because the American democracy died the day he was elected the first time.
Happy times on the Comics in Quarantine Solving Problem Show.
USA.
Wow.
Right, wow.
Did I win?
That was fun. We got to do quizzes with the crowd next time. That's nice. I like seeing that in there.
I know there's a delay in the broadcast, which might be excusing it, or they're just sending through the answers after you've given them out, which is a great way for people to look good.
That's the way Trump would do it.
Yeah.
I mean, he would cheat. So, they're definitely...
The Bishop's got some messages as well. He says, sorry, late to the party, been busy with hummus dip.
Oh, there we go. I've got one over here. Our friend James in Canada is watching, but he claims he's not watching while driving.
Good.
So, which makes it sound to me like he's put...
Wow. Oh, I think we've just...
Canada.
Yeah. Something's just gone crazy with the... We nearly lost you for a sec there. But you're back.
Oh, dear.
Is he back?
Okay.
Then the Bishop says the ex-hamster is better than Pornhub. That's not the debate. I don't mind it when this show suddenly branches off into a debate about biscuits, but I get the feeling we shouldn't be doing a debate about what's the best provider and purveyor of pornography. Chris wants to know, do I win a speedboat? Nope. And let's have a look. A 4-1 win, says Mark. That was a 4-3 win. Well, yeah, well, if you were playing along and keeping score at home, brilliant. And then Mark says you get a water boatman. Smaller than a boat, but we'll try and see if we can get one for you. Lovely. Keep the messages coming through. We'll try and get more quizzes in future ones because it's actually quite fun if you want to play along. And if you've enjoyed it enough to drop us a drink in the box, here's the link down the bottom to have a crack at it. Look, let's focus on some good news, shall we? Things not only are reopening, but we're going to get some money to help us enjoy the things that are reopening. We had the mini budget this week, Rishi Sunak. He hit the news first with this. Before the actual mini budget came out, people were upset about, you see that little mug on his desk, £180 mug. It's like Bluetooth enabled, and it's chargeable, and it will keep your drinks hot for about 3 hours. And I must admit, normally, I'm not into news like that, where people go like, oh, he's got something that's expensive. Well, he's got a good job. But there was just something about that picture, realising that mug was worth more than I've earned this month. And it just kind of got to me a little bit.
What's the Bluetooth for?
So probably so you can turn it on and off remotely via your phone or something. Or at least it's probably Bluetooth, so it knows if it's been near anyone who's been infected with coronavirus, because I'm sure they've got the app working by now. What's that? This just in? No. Also, why did I pretend to have something being spoken into the one ear that doesn't have something in it? Sat over here is the perfect prop. Let's not do that again. Back to the headlines. So this, we got the budget. We got loads of details about stamp duty and meal vouchers. Right, let's try and go through some of them. Stamp duty, I think it's going to be interesting because I'm from a working class background. We never talked about it. Middle class people are always saying, well, stamp duty is a ridiculous charge and it does indeed cause problems for the market. So it'll be interesting to see if anyone actually gets around to moving. In the middle of a recession, but you get away with stamp duty. Will it make a difference? I don't know, probably not. Young workers are back to work for 6 months. I mean, that's not going to make a blind bit of difference. You got a job for 6. A summer job is what they're giving these people. My favourite one of all the ones was this one. Slashing VAT in some areas to help out, making pubs, hotels and zoos cheaper. Can we just talk about why zoos are being mentioned again? This happened when they used to do the daily briefings and they were talking about what could be opened up. Everyone was obsessed with zoos. Who's going to that many zoos? Why is zoo news in? It's unbelievable. Why is comedy's not happening and yet you can go to zoos? Which actually makes me think we should be doing gigs in zoos. I'll play the gig in front of the hyenas. At least it'll look like I'm funny. But I can't help but think no one's avoided the zoo because of the VAT. That's not the reason someone's not going to the... I'm telling you, this scene has never happened.
All right, son. Look, I know you had your heart set on going down the zoo, but I can't afford the VAT at the moment. So what I've done is, I've not taken the bins out for like the last month, and I've left the back door open so we can see what kind of animals turn up for a sniff. Yeah? Don't cry. And don't tell your mum this is what we do on the weekends, all right?
No one's going to the zoo like that. So the main one is talking about the meal deal is what we're getting. Basically, Rishi Sunak is becoming the Groupon chancellor. He's giving us 50% off meals early in the week, which I hope that doesn't mean he's going to start emailing me about waxing, because I, to the best of my knowledge, have never been waxed. Why do Groupon think it's something I'm going to be interested in? It makes no sense to me. So he's giving us, if you go to a restaurant early in the week, so Monday to Wednesday, you can get 50% off the food, not the drink. He has given us exactly the same deal that restaurants would have done anyway. It's like an early bird special. And yet he is now, the government's going to be funding what would have happened. It is a ridiculous idea. It's also stupid that it's called eat out to help out. Because we all know what's happening. It's a childish phrase, isn't it? You know, eating out. There is clearly some government minister very childishly bragging in the bar about what he managed to do.
And so I persuaded him to call it eat out to help out, which of course, you know what that means. I've made Fiona Bruce talk about eating out on the news.
Weren't you the minister that we spoke to earlier in that meta sketch?
What? Oh, yes, I was, yes. Blaming on the cutbacks.
It's getting too much for me. It's getting way too much for me. So, eat out to help out is the plan. Okay, this could be the one, actually. As much as I don't think it's a good idea because it could have happened anyway, at least it's something I can help out with. Because when they announced the plan to get furloughed workers picking fruit, and there's no way my back would deal with that. They announced stamp duty. I'm not going to move house. I can't be bothered to pack. They announced other things like young workers. I'm clearly too old for that. Every single thing that they announced, I couldn't help out in. But if I can help out by eating food, oh, hell yeah. You best call the International Monetary Fund and the Met Office because I'm going to make it rain. I'm going to be sat in a restaurant thinking, well, I shouldn't have a dessert, but it's my patriotic duty. Bring on the cheesecake. Splendid. I'm loving it. I love the fact that these are the two main things. Told us to go out and do our patriotic duty and have a nice drink, and then told us to eat absolutely loads of food. Yes. And then Britain's been told to lose weight for the winter as Deputy Chief Medical Officer admits he's very concerned about the fact that we're too fat for a second wave. What could possibly go wrong?
Oh, dear.
That's the world we're living in. Are you going to cash in your 50% voucher?
I think if I did eat out in a restaurant, that would be the one time I've actually stayed alert. So I don't know, because we haven't eaten out. We haven't been out for anything. So this weekend is it's 4-month mark since the last gig. So I haven't gone to the pubs yet. So I don't know if that's enough.
Wow.
I don't know if that's enough to make me do it.
Yeah. I mean, I've not done any of them either. And yeah, I don't know. It's 50% off. I'd just go to a cheaper restaurant anyway if I felt like it. I suppose I'd still be worried, but yeah, you got to get the economy moving. You know, it's that thing about 33% of people in a survey said they wouldn't take the cure. If they came up with a vaccine, they'd avoid the vaccine. And it's just the nasty side of herd mentality. You know, this herd resistance, herd immunity. You need 95% of people to be immune, and everyone thinks they're going to be part of the 5%, sitting back and letting everyone else do it. It's not going to end well, but that's not we. Let's keep it positive. Keep it light. If you've enjoyed it, the link's down the bottom for that.
It will end. Yeah, give us money while you can. Or you can send us your food vouchers.
That's true. Can we double up on these? Mark says, with this
Double up.
government, our patriotic duty for dessert should be eaten mess. Hey, nice. Chris says, method acting again, legendary.
Yeah,
well, thank you.
He's doing it. Bringing it. Bringing
Ellie
it.
sends a smiley face and says, zoos, the animals got sad because they didn't have an audience. I know how they feel, Ellie. No one's come round here mucking this place out either. Yeah.
But if you did have kids, Steve, you'd know why you want to go to the zoo. It's just to get out of the fucking house.
Before we move on, the Bishop on YouTube says, the ceiling fan is so last year. My four-blade. Don't diss the four-blade. Every time there's a heat wave, I'm grateful for the four-blade. It is yes, it makes my flat look like a working men's club up north. And that makes me feel at home.
Yeah, makes you feel at home. That's a good thing. We've got a couple of drinks have been sent our way. Thank you, Sal. And there's a few others. I'm not in that. I can't see the names there. Ellie sent us something, so thank you very much. Appreciate that. That is very, very, very kind of you. And we'll find a postal address or a P.O. box for your food vouchers once they come. Or maybe it'll be like an e-voucher, and we can take it that way. I can see one of the questions that came out, because I can't see some of the questions on yours, Steve, that Mark asked, how did I know it was a different chocolate bunny? Because I fucking knew. You know what a chocolate bunny looks like if you truly believe in Easter, and it was different.
So aggressive, brother.
I remember these things. Right. Okay. We're coming to the end of our half hour together. So thank you very much for contributions and that kind of thing, which feeds nicely into this final story for us, which was kind of exciting. It was kind of a coup. For the first time ever, both Steve, you and me, we were both, for a moment, the #1 trending news story on Twitter today.
What happened? What did I say? Am I cancelled?
Well, when I say that we were sort of the #1 story, we were part of the #1 story, which was the hashtag that went out today, hashtag Save Live Comedy. Nice. And that was done by a new organization called the Live Comedy Association. And it was meant to raise awareness of the fact that even with this $1.57 billion bailout package for the arts in the UK, which is less than the people get to put in insulation in their housing, but we won't talk about that again. But we're generally not recognized as an art by the Arts Council, which I don't really understand. I mean, you saw the work that Steve did earlier. I mean, when you put those kind of glasses on and a fake beard,
it's art.
That is art. That's Picasso. Anyway,
I mean, it's artistic, because not only that, but I ended up acting in a sketch within a sketch, which is like a commentary on the insular nature of art itself. And you wait till you find out how many actors have been involved in this, because there's not as many as you think. That's even more insular.
So they might allow gigs to happen outside. So that was the big takeaway today from the culture secretary, is that, well, that's really nice of you. We can do gigs outside during British summertime. Thanks, whatever your name is, culture dude. But obviously this is our livelihood, and so we miss it. A lot of venues, they think up to 70% or more of venues might not be able to come back if there's a long-term closure. It's just, and this has been incredible. I've had a lot of fun doing the show. I think we're both enjoying it, and hopefully people are as well. But there's nothing like the live gigs. I mean, we've had some weird ones, haven't we, Steve?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's truth. And let's put the hashtag on the screen to make it seem like, there we go, like we're doing some sort of campaign. Yeah, man, we've done some we used to do topical shows together in London every single week for ages. And we played a football stadium, a rugby stadium together once.
Well, it was for we did a gig at Watford Football Club, but it was for Saracens rugby team. And a friend of mine basically said he wanted to put on comedy on the pitch for the halftime entertainment. And I told him that was a terrible idea. And then I saw how much he was willing to pay. And I said, hold on. So
we're stadium comedians now.
Yep. And it was me and you and another act named Steve Day. And the concept was that we would go down onto the pitch and we turned towards the crowd as they were coming in. I thought, all right, we'll come out, do a few minutes to warm up the crowd before the match. And then we'll have halftime, and they'll get paid a bit more money, and they'll get to entertain the crowd again. And we're like, this is gonna be terrible. And we started to turn towards the crowd, and they said, no, don't face the crowd. They're like, what? No, we want the camera to film you so we can put you on the big sky screen. But that means you have to turn into the field where the rugby players are, I don't know what they're doing, warming up? I don't understand the sport. Rugbying, fluffing, something like that. And so we did it to the camera with the rugby players behind them looking at us. And you could see us on the big screen. And then literally thousands of people not giving a shit.
Which is way more than we normally have, not giving a shit.
It was incredible. And then they had the audience vote to see who was the funniest. Now, did we admit this part, Steve?
I don't know if there are actually quite a lot of people watching, so I'm not sure we should necessarily admit what we did.
It was a different time. It was a different time. And basically, Steve Day, the third comedian who was on, is hearing impaired. And so he can lip sync, or lip read, and probably lip sync as well. But when they came to the point where they had the vote because no one was really paying attention. And so they said, who did you like? Did you like Eric? Did you like Steve Allen? Do you like Steve Day? So we looked at Steve Day and said, you won. And he got paid twice as much money as we did.
He got extra money, but he did have to go out there and do another 10 minutes.
So he's he knows that this happened, and he didn't complain because he was happy to take the money. Yeah. And if this hadn't happened, I would have gotten to do something that you've gotten to do, Steve, and I would have gotten to do a gig at a naturalist society. Sorry, no. Naturist.
You need to know the difference between naturist and naturalist, because David Attenborough is one of them, and you want to make sure you get it right. Because
I was going to do a naturist gig to an audience that was totally naked, and I didn't get to because it was canceled. But you've done it, haven't you?
I have indeed, yeah. The Orpington Naturist Society, just down the road in North Kent, and I got booked for it. Well, I got booked for a gig in Orpington. I was like, that's just down the road, I'll take it. And then the week before, when you get details sent through, the person booking it sent a message saying, I did tell you it was a naturist dude, didn't I? Like, no, I would have remembered that. That would have been the main thing, because I would have, again, same as you, checked what's the difference. Is it a David Attenborough one? Is it the other one? Maybe he's both, actually. I keep using David Attenborough as the example, but maybe he just sits there, stark bollock naked, just going, here we have the male appendage. And I went, I said, look, this gig, do I have to be naked? And they're like, well, you don't have to be. So we agreed. I can't perform stand-up comedy naked. My stand-up comedy set has many rude jokes that would be ruined by full detail of what I actually look like. You know, there's the joke that I talk about having a pair of boxer shorts with the tube map on, and then you can point down there and go, look at that, that's whopping. That joke's not going to work if I'm stood in a cold area of Orpington in front of a crowd of people.
Oh, don't put yourself down, Steve.
As it turns out, it was very cold. The weather turned, and there were only 3 people who remained naked in the audience. And I mean this in the nicest way possible. Not the 3 you'd pick. So we miss.
That's what we miss, guys. So # Save Live Comedy.
I know. Look, there are bigger campaigns going on, but it's true. The survey says something like 45% of comedians have considered leaving the industry, and look, that's nearly half. So one of us is going to go. You're watching statistically, only one of us is going to stick around, and I've already been thinking about, I've got no money coming in. I'm going to have to do something else. And it's worth thinking about that when you think, should I contribute and buy them a drink? Because comedians are, in general, narcissistic, egocentric, annoying, self-centered, and just always trying to make a joke. Really, really annoying. And if we stop doing comedy, we'll have to get jobs and could end up working with you. So what would you rather have? Us boiled down onto 20 minutes on stage, or every flipping day at work?
And I'm such a narcissist and so self-obsessed. The only thing for me to do next would be to become president of the United States.
Yeah, you qualify for it then. Sweet. Let's go through some of the messages before we lose that. Let's have a look. Ellie says no to the food vouchers because she actually likes staying in. Yes, there's going to be a show where we talk about the reckoning, as I call it, when we have to go out and deal with people again. Mark says, I'm single, so yeah, I'm so going to a restaurant. I suppose you could do like the bubble thing. We could find other single people to go to restaurants with. But that is just Tinder. That's basically, isn't it? Fred says, hi, guys. Hi, Fred.
Hi, Fred.
I've done a gig there with a band. Ew, says Chris. Oh, so you performed in front of the Well, I mean, look, there are a mixture of attractive people in the Orpington Naturist Society. But if you are going to perform there, check the weather.
Check the weather. Check for pandemics as well, because that will definitely mean they cancel the gig. You know what else goes on at those places.
What? Do you know what? I did ask them about that. I said, look, is this some sort of big swingers deal? And they were like, no, this is mainly playing table tennis. As most videos about nudist areas, there's always someone playing table tennis.
I wouldn't want somebody slapping a paddle around when I got my
You hear that noise?
Paddle out.
What's in there? Oh, they're just playing table tennis. All right.
Well, and there goes one. There goes one of the balls.
Oh, that felt like it was too much, but I liked it.
I love that noise. All right.
Maloko B says, is that Cockfosters? But apparently, because you put a space in Cockfosters, that message has been held back by YouTube because it might be offensive, but it shows it there. Thank you. And also, thank you to YouTube for still showing me the potentially offensive ones, so it can still hurt my feelings. Nice.
Yeah,
volleyball, says Maloko B. Yeah, they're always playing volleyball in the naturist things as well. Same
all
deal.
These things where things bounce. That would not be what I was doing anyway. Yeah. Pandemic's not been kind to me physically, so swing ball.
Yeah.
Nice.
You could always work in radio, Steve. Lots of opportunity there, says Fred. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, recently lost all that work. Been fired from so many. You know this whole thing about a portfolio career? And they always say this is the thing these days. You could have different angles, different strings to your bow. They've all snapped at once thanks to coronavirus. So yeah, used to be on the radio. Cheers for bringing that up.
Now we're here. Right. Okay, we're running over a little bit. I forgot we do have one more story to cover. And again, don't forget to, if you're enjoying it, share it on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube. Just let people know we're here every Tuesday and Thursday at the same time. And we really enjoy doing this. So, Steve, what did you have as a serious, hard-hitting newsman that you are to take us out?
Yeah, I wanted to mention this story. Woman whips off trousers and has a poo on beach during live news report. Look, we need something. It's been a lot of serious news. We hear the comedians are losing their jobs, but look, this person took a dump on a beach. And look, there's always you see a lot of this in news broadcasting. The reporter, there's always someone behind them doing something stupid. When Leicester closed down again, I was watching the BBC and they had some great guys walking around the background. But I'm going to play you the video now. The news reporter is a lady in the front. She's wearing a mask. She's wearing kind of a magenta-coloured top. Yes, she looks a little bit like Melina from Mortal Kombat. Don't pay attention to that. Pay attention to the lady just over her shoulder and see if you can spot her pinching off a loaf. Here we go. There she is, trousers down. Not below the knee, though, yet. Interesting. And my favourite bit is this bit. Watch what the reporter does. Clearly just being told in the ear, move across. Move across. Cut back to the studio because we're seeing someone part their lunch on the beach. And look, there we go. Zooming in again.
Oh, yeah, it's happening.
Couldn't even be bothered to go in the bin liner. No, right there on the beach. And that was all meant to be.
Oh my God, Steve, you've been attacked by the coronavirus. What are you going to do?
And so what this means is, it's embarrass someone on TV. But they don't tell you that when you work in radio, as I used to, it's a bigger problem on radio than it is on TV because it's harder to spot. Many a time I've been working for various radio outlets. Someone comes in the studios, often an engineer. You think, are they here to fix something? And they just, hop a little squat and pinch out a piece of cable. Yeah. It's a problem in broadcasting, and not a lot of people know that it's happening. This is why we go quite close trimmed on these shows as well. You never know when someone's going to turn up and just have a dump in the background. And it's happened on radio so much that if now you can listen and you can kind of spot when it's happening. I think the first case, I managed to find this on the internet, the first case of someone taking a dump in the background of a news piece of reporting, it was this.
We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. Good God.
Oh, sorry, Governor.
And there we go.
That was incredible how that recording holds up after all this time. It's still so moving.
Yep, a lot of moving. There'll be a cocktail named after that soon. What, taking a dump on a beach?
Hot cocoa there.
Chris says, I listen to your podcast most days at work. Or the old ones from the old, still on the BBC Sounds app. I don't think they've taken them down yet. If you want to hear what the news was like over the last 4 years, it's better than it is these days. Mark says she was creating a breakwater. Good. Who was the
Nice.
other comment as well? Someone says, have I furloughed the virus that attacks us? You know, the whole thing about you gotta stay alert. Sometimes on the show, because we're alert, if a virus tries to attack us, it's whoop-ah! Oh, it's different because we've gone different screen. Whoop-ah!
It's gotten you twice today. You've got to work on that, Steve. You're letting it slip. This is the thing. We get lazy with the virus, and this is where the second wave comes from.
That's how you do it, because I'm alert, because I'm not going to a restaurant.
There you go.
Right, thank you for all the messages that are coming through. Maloko's got another one that's been held back for The best one you should check out is the transfer day and get some dildo out behind the reporter. Lol. Google Everton dildo. I'm not going to be googling Everton dildo.
I will.
It's going to be strong. Oh no! You know what's happened? Look, I've said Google Everton dildo, and me. No, don't do that. Don't do that. Get me reported.
Brilliant. All right, we got to go.
Yeah.
Thank you guys for watching. Also, if you've got friends who you'd like to recommend the show to, we do a midnight.
Midnight repeat. Yep, gets played back.
That'll be happening just a few hours, and then we'll be away this weekend. We have a gig on Saturday, don't we, Steve?
Yeah, I mean it's still an online
It's
one.
a Zoom gig for a charity, and I found out how many people have sold tickets.
Oh.
That's good. It's not very many, so we still need you to buy us a drink is what I'm trying to say. But other than that, 9 o'clock next Tuesday we'll be back. Subscribe, share, do all of those fun things, and that's it from me.
Till next time then, till Tuesday, 9 o'clock. Bye.
Bye.